Okay, let me put this aside so I can actually get into the video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Julie and today I'm going to teach you how to make the perfect French chocolate cake. This recipe is from La Pâtisserie Alsacienne. Okay, this is the book La Pâtisserie Alsacienne, and this is what we're going to be making today. So this is a very easy recipe with only a handful of ingredients. Long story short, I'm addicted. I'm going to walk you through step by step. You're going to need powdered sugar to make the magic happen, essentially. And the way you can watch this video is really either you watch it before and you get all the knowledge and then you have it handy for reference when you're cooking in your kitchen, or you can get all the ingredients in your kitchen and cook as you go and pause and play the video as you please. And then lastly, for those of you who don't know where Alsace is, it's in the east of France, right at the border with Germany. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this video and I hope you enjoy it. Exactly this. Okay everyone, so here are the 7 ingredients that you are going to need for this recipe. First, you're going to need 100 grams of hazelnut powder, which is about 3.5 ounces, 100 grams of flour, 4 eggs, 200 grams of sugar, 100 grams of chocolate, and then one of these bags, which is the equivalent of 1 tablespoon of yeast. And finally, 100 grams of butter. So those are your main ingredients. So you're going to put the 100 grams of chocolate, you're going to on the stove, and you're going to start heating that up. You're either going to do it before you actually start the recipe, or if you're doing it during, just keep a close eye on it because it does cook quite quickly. So you're going to mix the butter and sugar in a bowl. You can use your hands or a spatula like myself. By the way, 200 grams is the equivalent of 7 ounces. I will have all of that information in the description box below. Next step, you're going to separate your eggs, so the egg yolk from the egg whites, because we're going to be using those in 2 separate steps. I'm no professional, so I did mess up the last egg, and that's totally fine. You can do that as well. No pressure here, we're not chefs. Okay, so if you are cooking the chocolate while doing the recipe like myself, keep an eye on it. It does cook so quickly and you don't want it to crackle and burn at the bottom of the pan. Okay, this step can be daunting at first, but it is so easy. So step 3, you are whisking your egg whites. All you have to do is have a machine like this. You can also do it by hand. It just takes a lot more effort. Totally fine. You're doing it until it becomes a thick consistency like this. It can take 5-6 minutes. It's very quick, honestly, if you have this machine. And that's what it's going to look like. So you're going to put that aside for now, and we're going to move to step 4, which is adding the chocolate to the main batter bowl with the sugar and butter. So you're going to add all of that in. It does take a few seconds just because the chocolate is all over the pan, so you might have to use a flat spatula or a spoon, something that just helps you get all of that into your main batter bowl. Then you're going to mix everything, make sure there are no clumps. Very, very important, no clumps whatsoever. With the eggs, obviously, it's easy, so add those 4 eggs in the batter. It's going to make it a little bit more liquidy, if you will, and it's going to help get rid of any extra clumps from the other ingredients. Next step, you're adding your hazelnut powder. I picked hazelnut. Usually the recipe does say hazelnut. I did almond, half hazelnut, and the first time I did this, it was delicious. You can also do walnuts, totally up to you, but we'll say hazelnut definitely wins in my book. Step 7, you are mixing your 1 tablespoon of yeast with your flour. You can do this with your fingers like myself, no need for a spoon. This is very, very easy step. And then you're actually going to add that into your main batter bowl. Keep in mind that the flour is usually the one that creates the most clumps. So keep an eye on it. Do maybe double the amount of time you've been mixing on other things. Just don't do this too quickly. You really want to get rid of all the clumps. So put in a little bit more effort into this one. And it's going to look like this. And the next step is going to be step 9. So we're adding the whisked egg whites. This is a bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's very, very easy. You're scooping it up. You never want to break the egg whites. You want to cover them with the batter that you have. This is just a trick in French recipes. At least that's what my mom told me. So yeah, see how I'm scooping it and covering them with the batter? That's how you're mixing them. You're not breaking them in any way. So just be gentle, take your time. I do this in scoops of the egg whites, if you will, so I don't throw everything at once. I do about 3 or 4 times until I get the beautiful, very similar to mousse au chocolat recipe. I love how I say that with an English accent, that mousse au chocolat. Okay, so you're done with your batter. You're at step 10. You are going to butter the out of this dish because the batter will stick to the dish if you don't have enough butter. And that's just frustrating when you're trying to cut it and make it look nice. You guys will see later I had one spot that did not completely unstick, which is frustrating, but it's okay. It's my second time doing it. But really, butter here is your friend, so put that everywhere. Even, on the top edges like I do here, so that in case the yeast helps you have the cake rise, if it does overflow, then you're covered because you have butter there. So step delicious. I mean, do I really need to do a voiceover for this section? I don't know. This looks so good. I want this cake now, even though I ate this yesterday. So you're going to put all your batter into your buttered dish. And you can let the dough kind of mold itself to the mold if you want. However, just because of time, I wanted to speed that up, and I used a flat spatula just to press that all over the place. So the recipe is from an older book. It's from the 80s, 82, I believe, and it tells me the temperature is low, medium, high. After speaking with my mother, she told me the most common temperature for baking in France is 180 Celsius, which is about 350 Fahrenheit. Quite high, but it's probably just because I'm used to Celsius. So 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit. So you're going to stick your battered dish chocolate cake. What am I talking about? You're going to stick your chocolate cake in the oven and you're going to put it for 55 minutes. Keep an eye on it. So I close to 45 minutes, I was basically next to the oven, just making sure that it wasn't overcooking or whatnot, because we were aiming at a temperature that we didn't really know would work, but we're glad it did. So it's going to come out looking like this. And the last step before eating it is adding powdered sugar on top. I am not conservative when it comes to powdered sugar, maybe a little bit in this video. I probably put a lot more when you guys aren't watching, but that's okay. Nobody's judging. And yeah, you're gonna powder the cake all over the place. And yeah. And then here you can see that the corners are actually not even sticking to the pan or dish, if you will. The butter did that, so it should be easy to scoop out the cake once you cut it. So let's see how I did. Moment of truth. Dun, dun, dun. Uh-oh, I'm breaking a piece. No, Julie, what are you doing? Does it really matter? Yes, I mean, presentation does matter. It's probably just because I'm French. That looks so good. Oh my goodness. And I love the corner. The corner has a more crisp edge, obviously. So see how that last piece, it like stuck to the pan? I probably just didn't put enough butter at the bottom, which is my fault. So back to earlier, really put a lot of butter. So this is the finished slice. It looks so good. This is definitely a crowd pleaser. It's delicious. You can kind of have as much as you want. Honestly, that's what I do. But I mean, this cake barely lasts 2 days. And voila, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to look for my Instagram handle in the description box below. Feel free to message me pictures. Can't wait to see how your cake turns out. Thanks, guys.